Hi, everyone. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Jessica.
And you're listening to Clean With Me,
the podcast where we walk you through cleaning your house.
Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I am going to talk you through cleaning your living room. It's time to gear up for our cleaning session. Maybe you need to freshen up a little bit to get ready for the day. Put some fresh wax in your wax warmer and take the trash out, or light a candle to get your house smelling good. But while you're gearing up for your cleaning session, I'll just talk a little bit about cleaning the living room. Obviously, a living room or family room can be a magnet for clutter. It's where the family spends a lot of time. But sometimes we get into a rut of just quickly picking up, straightening the cushions, and then vacuuming or sweeping. And we can go a long time in between deep cleans of a living room. It's something that I tend to think about more when I'm expecting company, because to sanitize your house, you're deep cleaning your bathroom regularly. You're scrubbing the surfaces in your kitchen. But sometimes the living room can just kind of fall by the wayside. You just do what I call a pick vac, where you pick up the surfaces and vacuum. Maybe you also dust, or maybe you procrastinate on dusting. But there's more to cleaning the living room than just picking up, dusting, and vacuuming. And that's what we're going to talk about during this episode. Maybe right now you're freshening up. Maybe you were on the couch or the bed and you're up and getting dressed and maybe putting your hair up or running a brush through it. Or maybe you're taking out the trash so you'll have a place to put stuff if you have trash and clutter in your living area that you'll be working in. Or maybe you need to get your machines running. Before I tackle a cleaning project that's not the kitchen, I like to make sure that I do a quick empty, reload, and run of the dishwasher. So if you have a dishwasher, you may want to quickly do that. Or maybe you want to pre-rinse that first sink load and get it soaking while you work in the living room. We're not going to talk about dishes and the kitchen in this episode. We have plenty of episodes for that. It's often the emphasis of the show. However, you may need to get that dishwasher running during this time. And of course, I can talk faster than you can work, so I'm just throwing some things out there so that you can pick something that needs to be done and take care of it. Of course, the other main machine is your washing machine. Sometimes the dryer comes into play. Maybe you need to switch some laundry from the washing machine into the dryer and start a new load, or maybe you just need to start a load. But it's so relaxing when you have your machines working for you while you're cleaning your house. So I definitely recommend getting those machines running early on if you have dishes to do or laundry to do, which of course includes bedding to wash. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't do laundry every day. I don't need to do laundry every day. Yeah, but if you have a 4-bedroom house and there's a bed in every room, that adds up to a lot of bedding that needs to be washed, in the course of a week or two. Okay, so maybe you need to get a load of bedding or towels, washing, even if you're okay on clothing, so to speak. And then once you've done whatever you need to do to gear up for your cleaning session, it's time to gather up supplies, because this is going to be more of a deep clean of your living room. If you have a ceiling fan, grab a pillowcase. That's the secret weapon for cleaning a ceiling fan easily. If it's a high ceiling, you may need a step ladder if you can safely use that. If it's a super high ceiling, you might have a tool that you use for dusting your ceiling fan. So go ahead and get what you need for dusting the ceiling fan. Another thing you're going to need are a couple of microfiber cloths, one of them slightly dampened with water and one of them dry, maybe even a third one. You may need to grab some furniture spray like Pledge or whichever product you use for that. Another thing to have handy, and it's okay if you don't have these, but magic erasers. You may have some stubborn wall marks to deal with because we're going to be observant in the living room and basically look for problems. I didn't know this was a thing, but there's something called pre-moistened electronic wipes. I'm okay with just using disinfecting wipes, but maybe you have those. You may want to grab some type of wipes. Maybe you have like a feather duster, an ostrich feather duster or something. If you have one, grab it. If not, we've got the dusting cloths for that. White vinegar can also be handy, especially if there are some mystery spots on your carpet that might be pet urine. Vinegar can be used to neutralize that. So again, you may need to freshen up. You may need to get your machines running. You may need to light a candle. And then, of course, you're going to want to get your supplies together. And don't forget about somewhere to put trash. If you don't keep a waste basket in your living area, you may need a trash bag. Or if you're like me, your living room is right next to the kitchen and there's a waste basket in there and you can just walk back and forth because it's literally right there. Anyway, that's enough preliminaries. Let's jump right in. One of the important things that you'll do in a living room is clean your blinds, because we've talked about, doing a pick vac. In most episodes, you're straightening up your entrance and front room, okay? And you can always substitute a family room during that segment if you have like a second living area on the back of your house that you call the family room or whatever you call that, and your front room's already pristine. You can always substitute that. But we talk about that in so many episodes, and a lot of times it's just about picking up clutter, straightening the cushions, okay? But when we're doing a deeper clean, we need to turn our attention to the windows. And I'm going to talk about cleaning the blinds. It doesn't have to be a daunting task. If there's a lot of buildup on your blinds, one of the easiest ways to get started on cleaning those is to vacuum first. So you're going to want to close your blinds completely and then drag a vacuum attachment across the entire length of the blinds. That attachment that has the little brushes on it. Okay? I'm told that's called a horsehair vacuum attachment. And you just run those across, you turn on your vacuum and you just run that across your blinds, okay? Then you close your blinds the opposite way and do it again so that you're cleaning the other side of the blinds. A lot of people don't think to do this, okay? But if you start right away with a moistened cloth on your blinds, it's going to get kind of gummed up or whatever. So it's important to remove that surface dust first, and vacuuming can be an easy way to do that. While you're working on that, I'll just say that I've been traveling a lot. My husband's been working out of town, and different family members go with us on each trip, but we've been going back and forth, and just so that I could spend time with him while he's out of town before school starts. And then we're going to have like a different system where I go visit him for like a day and a half at a time. But right now I've been spending lots of time with him just because school's out and I don't have a lot of the same responsibilities. So I am going to be home more, and so I'm going to be going deeper with a lot of these episodes because I'm going to be in the trenches deep cleaning. But I'll admit right now we're kind of in survival mode where we're doing more the minimums. Okay? It's been a while since I've dusted my blinds and whatnot, because what we're focusing on lately is getting the kitchen to dish zero, meaning every dish done, keeping it that way, cleaning as we go, keeping up on washing and drying laundry so that we can quickly pack our suitcases, and just keeping the house sanitary and functional. I usually try to clean the bathrooms when my husband's out of town by himself so that when he comes back, the bathrooms are clean, things like that. And of course the whole house, but that's kind of the deep cleaning task I usually do the day before the final clean when he's coming home. So it's just been a different routine, and you may not be traveling a lot this summer, but even if you're not, if you have school-aged kids, your routine is probably much different in the summer than it is after school starts. So the show will be changing. If you feel like it's become redundant or something, don't worry. I'm going to be talking about different stuff once I'm home more and kind of back into the routine. But I still wanted to talk about deep cleaning the living room, especially if you're expecting company. This is important because that's the showcase area. That's usually the area that people first see or that they're spending the most time in. So it is important. So by now, you've probably dusted your blinds in some way. You may also want to wet dust them. And you could mix equal parts of vinegar and water in a bucket or other container, or maybe you have a vinegar and water spray. But you're going to want to use the vinegar and water mixture to actually wipe down the blinds, which you can do with one of your microfiber cloths. You could also put your hand inside of a sock, or of course use a blind cleaning tool, which is what I do. It's like these little fingers that kind of rip the blinds, and the covers are kind of like a terry cloth material. That's always quick to use. So go ahead and finish out that project. I know it's August, and in today's society, like, people start talking about like pumpkin spice lattes and fall decor at the very beginning of August, but it's still super hot where I live, so I'm definitely not going into fall mode just yet. Am I thinking about my fall wardrobe and a couple additions that I want to purchase? Yes, but we'll talk about fall decor and whatnot in a later episode. I'm still in summer mode, and my kids don't start school until August 19th. I was telling someone the other day that when I was a kid, school started in September. And then when my oldest daughter, Jessica, started kindergarten, her first day of school was August 23rd. And I remember thinking that was early. In the town that I live in, school started for the public schools on August 1st. So it just keeps getting earlier, but my kids don't start till the 19th. They're in a private school. Speaking of school, and just be cleaning your blinds, and when you're done there, maybe pick a window to wash, maybe with your Windex and microfiber cloth, or if you're not doing windows today, just wipe down the window sills. But while you're working on that, I wanted to mention that in our secret Facebook group for financial supporters, by the way, if you're a financial supporter and you don't know about that group, I'll mention it in a bonus episode soon so that you'll know what I'm talking about. But in that group, someone requested that I do an episode about keeping house when you're homeschooling, because I've mentioned before that I used to homeschool my kids. So now I'm team private school, but I've done homeschooling, I've done public schooling. I've done private schooling, so I can relate to just about anybody. If you're curious what my routine looked like when I was homeschooling, definitely subscribe to bonus content, which you can do in several ways. Visit cleanwithmepodcast.com for instructions, but you can subscribe to Clean With Me Unplugged on Apple Podcasts. You can click on the Spreaker link in this episode description. It will allow you to subscribe, and then you'll be directed to a different website to access the bonus episodes. And then there's also the option to support Jessica or myself on Patreon. And whichever of us you support, you'll get the bonus episodes that we both make, because we put those in both Patreons. But if you support us on Patreon at a higher dollar amount, there's also other bonus content that gets posted in there. Pictures, videos. It's kind of occasional, but you'll get access to the bonus episodes by supporting us in any way. And I'll mention the Facebook group in there in an upcoming bonus episode. So if you're feeling left out on this back to school stuff and you're like, well, I'm going to be homeschooling and I kind of do it year round, so nothing's really changing, then you'll probably relate to my upcoming bonus episode about keeping house while homeschooling. Okay, by now you've cleaned your blinds, maybe a windowsill or a window. Let's talk about the ceiling fan. The best way to clean a dusty ceiling fan is with a pillowcase. Again, disclaimer, only do this if you can safely do so, if you're healthy enough. Stand on a ladder, wipe each fan blade by gently dragging it inside the pillowcase. All the dust will be caught in the pillowcase, which will avoid you making a mess on the floor. But if you're using a different dusting tool on a pole or whatever, that's fine, because you're going to vacuum afterward. Or if your if your ceiling fan is right above the coffee table, of course you would do that, and then dust. You always clean from the top down. You know that. And then if there's any, after kind of the pillowcase method or the dusting tool, if there's any remaining dust or grime, you can clean that off with a microfiber cloth dipped in a mixture of equal parts vinegar and water, if you can reach your fan, of course. And if there's a light fixture attached to the fan, you can wipe that with a vinegar and water mixture, or, your glass cleaning spray. It's always good to do a final polish with Windex if you're cleaning something like that with a rag. The next deep cleaning task I want you to do in your living area is to use a magic eraser to get rid of any scuff marks on the wall. Okay? Kind of goes without saying, but you want to look around. And if you don't have any marks like that, another thing you could do is wipe down your switch plates and outlet covers. Or you can wipe down a wall and a baseboard. If you've got that bucket of vinegar and water mixture, that can definitely work for wiping down a wall or a baseboard. Another thing that some people use is they'll mix a gallon of hot water and a teaspoon of laundry detergent, like Tide or All or something like that. Or maybe use a greener product. That's fine too. Somebody was mentioning that people might get triggered about some of these products that you mentioned. But like I say all the time, my show is not about the products. It's about the cleaning motivation and some of the methods. And, we all go through phases where we're using greener cleaning products. For some of you, it's not a phase. You do it all the time. And I respect that, but that's not the mode that I'm in, so my examples are going to be conventional cleaning products. And if you're using a dampened cloth or some type of cleaning mixture, you can use that same mixture and cloth to gently wipe the tops of picture frames and other wall decor where dust likes to settle. Okay. What about upholstered furniture? Okay. A lot of times you need just a spot cleaning spray and a damp rag. If you've got kids or pets or even just messy adults and you have some spots on your couch or your padded chair or something like that. We don't have this problem very often now that the kids are older, and when our little grandson who's a toddler is over, we're closely supervising him. We're not letting him eat on the couch. We have him kind of stand at the coffee table and eat if he's eating in the living room, if he's not in the kitchen. But if you do have some spots, because I don't know what season of life you're in or what your lifestyle is, if you do have some spots on the couch, just grab a spot cleaning spray. And whether it's just a regular spot remover or a laundry pre-treater spray, either one will work. I've always found that like the spray and wash or the Shout works the same as like a Resolve carpet cleaning spray. It's spot remover designed for fabric. So a lot of cleaning products are interchangeable. They're just kind of marketed in different ways. But if you haven't already cleared the clutter off of your couches and straightened the cushions, do that and then do a little bit of spot cleaning, and you might be able to use that same spray and rag to spot clean your carpet. However, I tend to spot clean the carpet after I've vacuumed it, so I'll mention that again in a few minutes. And of course, there's always that deep cleaning task of removing the couch cushions, finding all kinds of stuff in there, whether it's just crumbs and coins or worse, French fries, socks, pens. Sometimes there's no telling what you can find in the couch if you have little ones. So this might be a day where you're wanting to kind of go all out and you make a pile of things that need to be put away, make a trash pile or put some things into a wastebasket of some sort, and then vacuum out the rest. It definitely needs to be done from time to time. Inevitably, someone's going to lose their keys, their wallet, and they're going to either reach down in your cushions or actually remove them. And of course, if there's food crumbs and whatnot, that can attract pests. So it is important to clean inside of your couch cushions and even under and behind your couches on a regular basis. That's a big part of deep cleaning a living room. So maybe be working on that if that's what you need to do. Now, I mentioned kind of spot cleaning a couch that's made of fabric. What you might also want to do if it's leather furniture, you might want to mix 2 parts of white vinegar with 1 part of olive oil in a spray bottle. Shake well. And some people add a few drops of essential oil for fragrance. That kind of improves the experience whenever you're making homemade cleaning products. Adding essential oils can make it smell nice, or maybe you have a dedicated product to use on your leather. And if you didn't have the spot cleaning spray that I spoke of for a fabric couch or a carpet, you could mix a 1/4 cup vinegar, 3/4 cup warm water. I'm not the type that would be measuring this stuff. It's just in my notes. I would just put a little of this and a little of that. But a 1/4 cup vinegar, 3/4 cup warm water, and a teaspoon of dish soap is what's recommended as the spray that you could use for your couch cushions and armrests. And then, you would scrub that with a cloth. And I didn't mention this, but of course you're going to need to pick up your living room and remove any clutter if you haven't already done so. Maybe you jumped right in and started dealing with the fan, the blinds, the walls, but you've got some stuff to pick up. You need to put some shoes in the bedroom, or you need to throw away a pizza box on the coffee table, or take a drinking glass to the kitchen. Now's the time to remove that clutter, because we are going to be vacuuming or sweeping at the end of the episode. We're getting ready to dust, so you want to make sure that your coffee table and end tables are cleared off. Maybe you have other surfaces like a bookcase or a piano. Let's remove anything that doesn't belong, maybe even some things that do belong, to prepare for dusting. And of course, clear the floor for that pick vac, so to speak. And of course, if you're going to do a really thorough dusting, you might even want to remove your lamps and other decorative accessories from your end tables. But a lot of times you can kind of just pick things like that up and wipe under them. If you have wooden furniture, you might be using a dusting spray that's good for wood. Or if your furniture is kind of rustic and you're like me, you might be just grabbing a disinfecting wipe and using that. I like using those because they're pre-moistened. It's just the right amount. And the ones I get have kind of an abrasive side, which makes it easy to tackle any difficult messes. Whatever you use, it's time to do that regular dusting. We've already worked with the blinds, the walls, but now it's time to dust those primary surfaces that are not your floor. Okay. And using a damp microfiber cloth, you're going to want to wipe your TV first with a damp microfiber cloth and then a dry one. Then you can use those, once the TV's done, you can use those same cloths to continue dusting the rest of the room. And maybe using a furniture spray if you have it on hand. But don't let that hang you up if you're like, I didn't buy a furniture spray. It's been so long since I've deep cleaned a living room and I didn't even know about. No, you can use just the cloth or just water on a cloth, depending on what's good for your furniture or whatever. But basically, in general, if you get a surface in your house damp and you dry it right away, you can avoid damaging the surface by just immediately drying it. So be wiping those surfaces in your living room. You may have other issues in your living room. You may have cobwebs that you need to grab a broom and knock those out of the corners. Be sure to look at those upper corners of the room. Something I think about after wiping down my piano is dusting under it, because my piano is in my entryway, which is part of my living room. But if I'm sitting on one of the couches, I can kind of see under the piano, and that always reminds me to dust under the piano, or just when I'm dusting the piano itself, I think about it. But I need to reach under the piano with either a broom or a rag, depending if I'm like down on the floor or if I'm feeling lazy. But I have to reach under the piano to get the dust bunnies from under there on that tile underneath. So maybe you have furniture that you need to dust under. And of course, once you've removed all clutter, you've tackled some deep cleaning projects as far as wiping things down, you've done your routine dusting and then some. Of course, it's time to clean your living room floors. Run a vacuum over it. One way to thoroughly vacuum a carpet is to have your vacuum lines going one way and then vacuum the other way. Like if you're going kind of straight forward, then you'll go sideways on the next once over, so that you're vacuuming two different ways, if that makes sense. And while you're vacuuming, this is for people with carpet, you want to be observant of any spots and then spot clean those. Okay? Deal with those spots after vacuuming. That's when they're going to be easier to see, and you will have located them during the vacuuming process, or if you have hard floors, maybe it's time to sweep and mop, or maybe you have a Roomba and you just need to get your living room Roomba ready and then have that robot vacuum take care of the rest. If you didn't wash your windows, maybe listen to one of my general topical episodes where I'm not specifically talking you through something, but I'm just talking about a particular subject. I make those once in a while. Something like that would be great for just washing your windows inside and out. And of course, you don't always need to be doing the exact thing that I'm talking about. I know my sister just puts on a podcast and cleans whatever she needs to clean, but is not following me like step by step. So there's no right or wrong way to listen to this show. But while you are cleaning your living room floor, whether it's sweeping and vacuuming or sweeping and mopping, you may have a combination like me of a hard floor plus a carpet, because I've got that tile entryway. So on a deep cleaning day, I would probably just run a vacuum over the living room carpet, but then I would sweep and mop the entryway just to make sure that it's completely clean and shine it up. But while you're working on the floor, I'll just say that if you do have school-aged kids, the fall is a great time to turn over a new leaf. Whether your kids go to school somewhere or they're homeschooling, it's a good time to reevaluate the schedule, maybe create a new chore list. I was really pleased with the last chore spreadsheet that I created, and I kind of thought, like, we're probably going to keep this routine for a while because I designed it to work through the summer and school year. But then some things changed in our routine due to my husband's job and visiting him and whatnot. So I am going to be creating another chore spreadsheet soon based on our new routine. You've always got to be kind of tweaking the system at your house as your schedule changes. And sometimes kids can be a handful toward the end of the summer. They're starting to get bored. So things are about to get easier when they go back. And even if you're homeschooling, just the structure can make things easier, keeping them busy with schoolwork and whatnot. And, putting them to bed earlier and things like that. I just love the changing seasons, the change of routine that it brings, and just the new opportunity to tweak the schedule and make things run a little smoother. I hope you got a lot done during this episode. I hope your living room looks amazing and company ready. If not, and you're on a roll right now, listen to another episode and do more. I know if you took apart your couch cushions and moved your couches, it could be a big project. If it hasn't, if it's been a while. No judgment here. If it's been a while and there was a lot of stuff in your couch, you may need some more time. Listen to one of my other episodes. Thank you so much for listening. Special thanks to our financial supporters, but even just listening to the free episodes helps. So most of all, just keep listening. Click follow on whichever podcast app you use. And as always, happy cleaning. I'll talk to you soon.